Family portrait. My mother decided my brother's problem was that he needed to go to rehab. So she shipped him off to a fancy place in Vermont. Every weekend we were supposed to drive nearly 4 hours for family therapy, even though our family was split in two. She had stopped going to church, and 12-step was her new religion. She talked about the counselors like they were her best friends. Even though I didn't live with her, she made Dad and me go. We all sat in a room and were given crayons and told to draw pictures of the family. This was fucking ridiculous. Dad's picture was the best. He used red and black for my hair and even drew it chopped off on one side, covering my eye. I was impressed with his attention to detail. Little tiny combat boots were on my feet. I snickered and Dad winked. My mother shot me the evil eye. Then they handed us take-home paperwork that we were supposed to bring back the next week. I couldn't believe my eyes when I read these questions. I wondered if my mother was going to have me incarcerated. Do you smoke? If so, how many? Do you drink? How many drinks per day? List. But it got much worse. Do you masturbate? How often? Do you take drugs? List. I was going to let them have it. I started listing every drug I had ever heard of. Morphine, benzodrine, methadone, LSD, cocaine, mescaline, as if. Where on earth was a 16-year-old girl going to get benzodrine? I had only read about it in books. I don't even think they made it anymore. The next week, my mother informed me, they think you have a problem with drugs and want to speak to you. I was brought into an ugly little room with burgundy wallpaper where a dull woman sat facing me. Donna, I'm reading over your intake paperwork, she started. Intake paperwork? I wasn't going in anywhere. I appreciate your honesty, she continued. What a fucking idiot. I'd like to talk to you about your using, she went on. I said nothing. Your mother is concerned. I thought the paperwork was confidential, I countered. In the case of family therapy, we have to treat every member, Mousy continued. That wasn't an answer, so I said nothing. Would you like to discuss treatment? No. Dad was the one who put his foot down. He told my mother he wasn't driving up to Vermont every Sunday. I never told him about my imaginary drug list, but I'm sure they said something to him about it. I wondered what he put on his paperwork. Did he tell them that he slept with women in the same family? When my brother got out of rehab, we had a forced family dinner to celebrate at a restaurant whose secret dip was ketchup and cottage cheese. I ordered a scotch and soda, and my mother clenched her teeth and blew her Winston out at me. How dare you, she seethed. Why not? I didn't go to rehab. I lit up a cigarette. About 2 months later, my mother decided it was my time to go to rehab in a place on Cape Cod. I checked in wearing a green flowered shirt. I got it at store 54. That reminded me of Lou Reed. My hair was black and everyone was at least 20 years older than me. I lasted 2 days before I got a ride to the Hyannis bus station back to Boston. I celebrated by meeting my friend, Kitty, at the Rat and drinking pitchers of Miller. 2 days.